Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to welcome you to this virtual investiture ceremony for the 120th graduating class of the Tuck School. Welcome to our graduating students and to all their friends and family who are joining us from around the world for this wonderful celebration, the first of its kind here at Tuck. Among the faculty online with us now are the winners of this year's Teaching Excellence Award. The purpose of this award is to celebrate Tuck's learning environment by honoring two faculty who, in the eyes of the graduating class, have made an outstanding contribution to students' advancement. Warm congratulations to this year's winners, Jose Ramon Lacuna Torres and John Lynch. Class of 2020, here we are, together virtually to honor your accomplishments, and yet physically we are apart. I acknowledge that this is not the celebration that any of us had planned when you first stepped foot on campus 21 months ago. And to be certain, we will celebrate together in person at a later date. But amidst a global pandemic, we see in each and every one of you great hope for the future, and that deserves celebrating today. Today we mark your success, your growth, and the adventure that you embarked upon 2 years ago. You have navigated the Tuck curriculum. You have powered through adversity with remarkable resilience, and I trust that you have had a bit of fun along the way as well. Today you graduate, primed to meet Tuck's mission of being wise, decisive leaders who better the world through business. In the future that lies before you, I commend you graduates to rely on three things. First, please rely on your dreams. Your dreams brought you here. Your dreams helped you earn your MBA. Now, stay true to those dreams in the years and decades that lie ahead of you. Second, please rely on each other. As talented as my many faculty and staff colleagues are, you, the class of 2020, have learned at least as much from each other as you have from us. Your classmates can be a continual source of learning and inspiration. And third, please rely on all of us who are here at the Tuck School. You are forevermore part of Tuck's tightly supportive community, now one of our more than 10,000 alumni circling the world. Our Tuck community will always be at your side to connect you to new people and new opportunities, to encourage your continued learning and striving, and to celebrate your many accomplishments. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our investiture speaker, Noreen Doyle, Tuck class of 1974 and chair of the board of Newmont Mining Corporation. Noreen has served as a member of Newmont Mining Corporation's board since 2005, as well as on the boards of several other companies, including 12 years as board chair of Credit Suisse. In 2015, she became the first woman to chair the British Bankers Association. In her executive career, Noreen was first vice president of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development from 2001 to 2005. Prior to that, she served as bank-wide head of risk management, and she established the bank's syndication business. Before joining the EBRD in 1992, Noreen had a distinguished career at Bankers Trust Company, now Deutsche Bank, specializing in natural resources and in leveraged finance. Noreen is a member of the Board of Governors of St. Mary's University in London, and she is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. We at Tuck have long benefited from Noreen's wisdom and counsel through her past service on both our Board of Advisors and on our EMEA Council. In addition to earning her MBA from Tuck, Noreen also holds a Bachelor of Arts from the College of Mount St. Vincent. Please join me in welcoming Noreen Doyle.
Thank you, Dean Slaughter. And I would like to commend you, Matt, for your recent message to the Tuck community on racism in America. I'm grateful that Tuck guides us towards empathy and wisdom, and hope that we each will contribute to bringing our country to a more just and egalitarian place in the coming weeks, months, and years. Dear parents and friends, dear Tuck deans, faculty, and staff, dear Tuck class of 2020, it is a great honor to be here today at the Tuck 2020 Investiture, even as we all wish we could be in Hanover rather than on our home screens. When the Dean asked me a few months ago to speak at this investiture, it was in the context of the celebration of 50 years of women at Tuck. I graduated in one of the early classes, not 50 years ago, but nearly. However, in light of the circumstances of the last 3 months, I propose to speak on 2 topics. First, the challenge of the global pandemic we are all experiencing, and then a few words on the persisting challenges for women in the corporate world, and a bit about myself and my career. First, COVID-19. The class of 2020, around the United States and across the world, will be remembered as the class that had no graduation. So I applaud the Tuck class of 20 for its initiative in setting up this digital investiture. Bravo. We have all adapted to new ways of working, remote working, video interviews, Zoom cocktails, online groceries and meals, streaming of pop concerts and classical music, and virtual tours of museums. But you have missed the last months of the last term at Tuck, which alums remember fondly. We mostly had jobs, we knew where we were settling, and once mud season was over, we had the pleasure of hiking, ball games, job kegs, and the other joys of the Upper Valley without pressure of the previous 5 terms. But those terms and that pressure was the foundation for friendships you have made, which will endure for at least 50 years. We are in the midst, maybe the end of the beginning, if not the beginning of the end, of the global pandemic. Very unsettling, unprecedented. But based on my years since graduation from Tuck, my message to the class of 2020 is that this too shall pass. My Tuck class grew up in the benign 50s and 60s, but was jolted when here at Tuck by the 1973-75 recession. OPEC quadrupled oil prices, and the stock market had its worst crash since the Great Depression. Unprecedented. No investment banks were hiring, so those of us in finance took jobs in commercial banks or corporate functions. At the time, it seemed a great crisis. I joined Bankers Trust Company, now part of Deutsche Bank. It was one of the few banks at the time that didn't put women in the metropolitan division, but allowed us to travel. In my case, to cover clients in Texas, a great culture shock for this New Yorker. Looking back, it was really not so bad. We survived and prospered. The 80s were pretty good to us, a peacetime expansion. The beginning of the 90s brought another oil shock and consumer pessimism. But the balance of the decade saw the longest period of peacetime growth in U.S. history. This was your childhood, not so different from mine. Then in the late 90s, we had a major financial crisis in Asia, followed by a major financial crisis in Russia. At the time, August 1998, I was head of risk at EBRD. Russia unilaterally declared a moratorium on all debt payments, domestic and international, including the World Bank and EBRD. Unprecedented. We had 25% of our portfolio in Russia. EBRD was in only its 7th year of existence. The treaty under which we existed, which Russia had signed, said that we were exempt from any debt moratorium of any kind. It looked like it could be the end of the EBRD, but it wasn't. Russia came around a few days after furious negotiations in Moscow and issued a presidential order declaring EBRD debt exempt from the moratorium. Eventually, Russia recuperated, and EBRD continued its work. And I continued my career and was later appointed first vice president, second in command at the bank. And then September 11th, 2001, and the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center. Unprecedented. I was 10 days into my term as first vice president at EBRD. We had offices and staff all over the former Soviet Union, including Central Asia. We swung into crisis mode. We wondered, would the U.S. ever be safe again? But the USA survived. Rules changed. Travel restrictions were put into effect. We adapted to the new challenge of a new world order. Then we come to 2008, the subprime mortgage crisis, the housing bubble bursts, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and AIG collapse, not to mention Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, 2 U.S. agencies. You were probably in high school or college. I was on the board of 4 listed companies, including Credit Suisse. The Swiss Central Bank provided a 60 billion Swiss franc rescue package for UBS, and fully expected Credit Suisse would need a similar bailout. I can tell you, those days really focused the mind on the responsibility and liability I had undertaken as a director of a systemically important global financial institution. Securities on our balance sheet took a very deep dive in a very short time. Capital ratios looked like being breached. Capital was scarce. The regulator was extremely interested. It looked bad. It looked like the end of the financial world as I had known it for more than 30 years. Unprecedented. Would Credit Suisse survive? And how? We did, and we raised private capital. It wasn't the end of the world. The global financial system endured. Rules changed. New restrictions came into force for institutions and individuals. But unfortunately, the reputation of bankers was pretty well destroyed. As an aside, one of the reasons I accepted to chair the British Bankers Association was to do my part to restore the reputation of our industry. Dull and respectable when I joined in the 70s, and not at all dull now, but also not yet respected. So I know that COVID-19 pandemic is exceptional. It is unprecedented. Global, so far resulting in over 350,000 deaths worldwide and 100,000 deaths in the United States, and multiples of that in unemployment. The global economy has been dealt a blow of unimaginable proportion. It will take time to recover. It won't be the same in the future. There will be new rules. There will be new restrictions. But you will survive, and your countries will survive. The ingenuity of humanity will be tested again. The Tuck class of 2020 and your fellow graduates around the world will take on this challenge and contribute to the development of the new normal. Revised rules, revised regulations, new restrictions, which will evolve to ensure the safety of all of us and rescue our economies. But before I leave the stage, a few words about 50 years of women at Tuck. In 1974, I was one of the first 10 female graduates with an MBA from Tuck. We left Hanover full of enthusiasm for the opportunities it gave us. The number of women at Tuck and other business schools grew rapidly, and by the early 80s in New York City, almost half the professional intake in the banks was female. But today, they're not half the managing directors. They're probably not half the directors. They may be half the vice presidents. And a female CEO is still a novelty. When Alison Rose was recently named CEO of NatWest in the UK, it was first page news in every British paper. And we can be proud that Tuck has produced Elise Allen, Tuck 84, recently retired CEO of GE Canada and currently chair of Tuck's Board of Overseers, and Sarah Ketterer, Tuck 87, CEO of Causeway Capital, and Nikia Wright, Tuck 09, CEO of the Chicago Sun-Times. But after 50 years of women at Tuck, there should be many more women and Tuck women in corporate leadership positions. Many of you will go into the corporate world, large or small, or into other organizations still dominated by male leadership. Here's what I'm asking you to think about and promote as and when you set out on the career path for which Tuck has prepared you. And I'm asking the women and the men. These 5 action points were developed by a symposium of 50 women of my vintage who gathered in Tuscany 5 years ago to use our experience to accelerate gender parity in corporate leadership. The movement is called Paradigm for Parity. And so far we have over 100 corporate CEOs who have pledged to a near-term goal of having 30% of women in senior roles. The 5 simple concepts are: first, make sure you and your organization understand, minimize, and strive to eliminate unconscious bias. Aim for gender parity in senior operating roles. Measure against targets and communicate results internally and externally. Endeavor to promote based on performance and not presence. And I think the last 3 months of working from home on an enforced basis have changed many attitudes on what working remotely means. And finally, make sure that senior women with potential have sponsors in your organization as well as mentors. So that's my commercial message, or perhaps I should say my public service announcement. If we do not accelerate progress towards gender parity, 50 years from now, one of you will be on the podium with the same lament. So in closing, may I congratulate each of you for achieving your Tuck MBA, and may I wish you good health, safe travels, good luck, and success in your chosen career. Thank you very much.
Noreen, on behalf of all of us at Tuck, I would like to thank you for joining us for this historic virtual ceremony. We now move to the presentation of student awards. Dean Hall and Dean Yeager, please join me at the podium.
Edward Tuck Scholars are those students who have demonstrated outstanding academic accomplishment during their 2 years at Tuck. Scholars are designated by the faculty at the end of their second year. I will now read the names of the Tuck Scholars. At the end of the ceremony, you can find a list of all recipients on the Tuck website. The Edward Tuck Scholars for 2020 are, with highest distinction, Christopher Bartenstein, Madeline Conlon, Sean Shafi, Matt Weems. With high distinction, Christopher Carey, Nicholas James Foreman, Christopher Kalpin, Kuba Nowitzki, Tosh Parashev, Deepak Senkaran, Archana Vamanrao. With distinction, Whitney Lane Fletcher, Emily L. Fox, Reuben Hampton, Kate Meekum Hartford, Shailendra Kemka, Fabian Kissing, Adam Daniel Leibowitz, Benjamin McIntosh, Trey Meyer. Tuck Scholars, Christopher Ballard, Julia Joy Burke, Rafi Bardwaj, Peter Cahill, Sanford B. Carton, Zachary Castle, Colin Kerr Chapin, Grace Close, Tara Davids, Lawrence Bennett Duggan, Ryan Ganong, Claire Brennan Grossel, Hazel Gunapala, Samyak Giroli, Sudhanshu Kemka, Ross Klosterman, Idai Kazubekova, Emily A. Main, Douglas Perizo, Sydney Shewitt, Megan Turvo, Samuel Torres, and Ryan Turk.
At this time, we award prizes honoring those graduates who have distinguished themselves through excellence in the classroom and service to the Tuck community. At the end of the ceremony, you can find a list of all recipients on the Tuck website. The John F. Anderson T35 Award. This prize is awarded to the graduating student who, in the judgment of the faculty of the Tuck School, has shown the most promise in the pursuit of marketing skills. The John Anderson T35 Award winner is Christopher Joseph Granada. The Herman Feldman 1929 Memorial Prize. This prize is awarded to a member of the second-year class who has done excellent work in his or her program as a whole and who has displayed interest in the field of leadership. The recipient of the Feldman Prize is Julia Joy Burke. The James A. and Sabra M. Hamilton Award in Administration. This prize is awarded to that member of the second-year class who, through personal qualifications and accomplishments in courses in the fields of business policy and organizational behavior, shows the greatest attributes of a capable administrator. This year, due to a tie, we have two recipients. The recipients of the Hamilton Award are Madeline Conlon and Kate Meekum Hartford. The Lieutenant J.G. Walter A. Jacobs Memorial Award. This prize is awarded to a student who during their first year has demonstrated intellectual ability and curiosity, sound judgment in academic work and activities outside the classroom, and personal habits and conduct which inspire confidence and enthusiasm. The recipient of the Jacobs Award is Hazel Gunapala. The Charles I. Leibovitz Memorial Award. This prize is awarded to the second-year student who has, during the first year at Tuck, made an outstanding contribution to the daily life of the school. The recipient of the Leibovitz Award is Catherine Liao. The Lillian and Charles Leach Prize for Excellence in Finance. This prize is awarded to a graduating student who has shown excellence in the academic area of finance. The recipient of the Leach Award is Zachary Castle. The Darrow Saunders Award. This prize is awarded to a graduating student who, through both personal qualities and accomplishments in management communication courses, demonstrates outstanding ability to communicate effectively as a manager. The recipient of the Saunders Award is Sean Shafi. The Tuck Centennial Student Award. This award is given to a first-year and a second-year student who exemplify the spirit and character of the Tuck School. Chosen by their classmates, recipients embody outstanding leadership, selflessness in everyday actions, extensive involvement in the Tuck and Upper Valley communities, and a firm commitment to the traditions and principles of the school. The second-year recipient of the Centennial Award is Natalie Triedman. The Julia Stell Award. This prize is awarded to those students who have made a substantial contribution to the Tuck community through their leadership in school programs and functions, and for their extraordinary efforts to help fellow students, especially in scholastic efforts. This prestigious award is named for the wife of Edward Tuck and co-founder of the Tuck School, Julia Stell. The recipients of the Julia Stell Award are Natalia Romanillos Alvarez, Joe Bond, Julia Joy Burke, Elizabeth Lena Briggs, Zachary Castle, Madeline Conlon, Nicole Ferraro, Anna Fishbon, Christopher Joseph Granada, Danielle Gutierrez Jimenez, Linda Magara Horner, Samyak Giroli, Alexandra Jean Johnston, Ross Klosterman, Tran Mai Lei, Catherine Liao, Sam Liu, Sejal Navatia, Tosh Parashev, Brent Quimby, Melina Sanchez, Sarah Lloyd Slater, Arsalan Suhail, Caroline Wells, Kevin Yuan, Hui Zhang. Congratulations to all of our award winners. I am pleased to introduce the student body president, Caroline Wells. It has been such an honor getting to know and working with Caroline these past 2 years. She embodies everything that is special and distinct about the class of 2020. She cares deeply about her classmates. She is thoughtful in her leadership, and her compassion, kindness, and generosity are inspiring. In addition to serving as student body president, Caroline is a Center for Business, Government, and Society Fellow and a Tuck Admissions Associate. Over the summer, Caroline worked at Google on the Trust and Safety Global Product Policy team, where she developed a strategy to combat harmful health misinformation on Google search. Prior to Tuck, Caroline worked as a consultant in Deloitte's global public sector practice, where she delivered strategy and analytics solutions to the U.S. State Department and Department of Defense. After Tuck, she will be returning to Deloitte as a senior consultant in the firm's commercial practice. Some of her key Tuck encounters include exploring the political economy of Vietnam on her GIX, co-founding a direct-to-consumer party supply venture through EFYP, running a 200-mile Ragnar race with a team of 12 Tuckies, and living on Hobson Road surrounded by the Norwich Tuck crew. Originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Caroline earned bachelor's degrees in foreign affairs and French from the University of Virginia. Welcome, Caroline.
Hi, Tuckies. Congratulations to the amazing class of 2020. I want to start off by saying a huge thank you to the Dean's Office, the MBA Program Office, and the Tuck IT Office for making today possible. I also want to recognize the faculty and staff who went above and beyond to help the school and its students adapt to life in a remote class environment. This spring semester would not have been possible without the hard work and dedication of the professors and support staff who put in countless hours reworking semester plans, troubleshooting Zoom problems, and ultimately helping to reach students wherever they were. A big thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to say thank you to Associate Dean Sally Yeager, who's been an integral part of my Tuck experience, and I think it's fair to say, every T20's Tuck experience. Sally's dedication to student life and success extends far beyond the four walls of Tuck Hall. Sally, thank you for your partnership, your mentorship, and your friendship, and may the Girl Squad live on forever. I'd also like to say a special thank you to my family, my parents, Maria and Richard, my siblings, Kate and Gabe, my grandmother, Carolyn, who will forever be known as the legend that gave a Murphy's campaign speech, and my Tuck partner, Josh, for their endless love and support. While I may have been the Tuck student, it took a village to help me get here. And I know that each Tuck student has a similar village that has helped them to reach this moment. So thank you to all. Finally, and most importantly, to the Tuck class of 2020. Congratulations on making it to this milestone. This is not exactly how we pictured it. In my mind, when I imagined this moment, I envisioned myself standing in front of Tuck Hall in my regalia, looking out onto the faces of 300 friends and classmates. Instead, underneath this robe, I'm dressed in yoga pants and slippers, and I'm speaking to you from my home in Washington, D.C. And yet, here we are, on such a special day, celebrating the successful completion of 2 intense, transformational years. Congratulations. Over the last few weeks, I've been reflecting a lot on my time at Tuck, particularly how these 2 years have prepared me for this moment when our world feels especially precarious. I've been thinking a lot about a book I studied in high school, The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. The book is a collection of short stories about the Vietnam War, but one vignette has entered my mind frequently over the last few weeks. In it, the author talks about how courage is a skill that must be practiced. And he recounts a moment where he's standing on the bow of a ship and he wants to jump off, but he can't because he's too afraid. He needed to be courageous, but his courage failed him because he hadn't been practicing that skill every day. He just assumed it would be there when he needed it. And as I think back over the last 2 years at Tuck, each experience has been an opportunity to practice courage. From answering a cold call with pretend confidence, maybe when English wasn't your first language, to walking into a conference room for a first-round case interview, to stepping out onto the ice for a tripod hockey game, having absolutely zero skating experience. These are all ways that we have practiced, flexed, and strengthened the muscle that is courage. And just as courage is a skill that must be practiced, so too is resilience. And these last few weeks and months, during which the world has battled a global pandemic, economic volatility, and the scourge of systemic racism, we've been practicing our resilience. Every moment that caused fear or required us to change direction or left us feeling frustrated has been an opportunity to persevere. Each day, we've practiced the ability to pivot, to make a new plan, and to find the strength to continue. And so, while this will not be the last time that something feels lost or that life feels scary or unfair, now we've practiced for these moments. Now, when we face challenges in the future, or times when we worked so hard to get to a moment and it didn't work out exactly the way we expected, we'll refer back to these last 2 years, these last 4 months, and realize that we're prepared. And perhaps more importantly, because we've practiced for these moments, we'll be able to say to our peers, our teams, and our families, I recognize this moment because I've been here before and I know the way forward. What a gift we've been given, the ability to practice our courage and our resilience. Recognize what a privilege it is to be here and that to whom much is given, much is expected. I'm proud to know you and I'm proud to be one of you. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your class president for these last 2 years, and congratulations to the class of 2020, undoubtedly one of the most courageous and resilient classes in Tuck's history. It is now my true pleasure to introduce your T20 student speaker and my dear friend, Christopher Waltham. Chris Waltham was born and raised in Perth, Australia. Chris graduated from Trinity College High School at age 16 and was a 4-year letter winner in field hockey and cricket. Chris left Australia in 2003 for West Africa and worked in Bamako, Mali as an engineer for West African Drilling Services, a subsidiary of Texas-based Lane Christensen Company. After 3 years in West Africa, Chris moved to the US and attended Bowdoin College and the University of Southern Maine, where he graduated in 2011 magna cum laude with a double major in political science and economics. During college, Chris worked as a systems engineer at Bowdoin and was an assistant coach for the Bowdoin varsity field hockey team, where he helped the team win 3 NESCAC conference championships and 3 NCAA national championships. Prior to Tuck, Chris was a systems engineer for NetApp in Boston. While at Tuck, Chris interned in the Boston office of EY Parthenon's software strategy group and also completed a fall internship at Deus Ex Machina Motorcycles in Milan, Italy. Chris is an avid tripod hockey player, a member of the Male Allyship Program, and a fellow in the Center for Digital Strategies. After Tuck, Chris will be returning to Boston to work as a general manager at Takeoff Technologies. Chris is married to T19 Katie Donovan. In his spare time, Chris enjoys reading, road and mountain biking, and motorcycle racing. Welcome to Chris.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Caroline, for that wonderful and spontaneously pre-recorded introduction. Before we get started, one quick suggestion for our graduates in case of technical issues. If you lose your connection at any time during this investiture, simply press print and your Tuck MBA diploma will be printed at home automatically. Printing at Tuck is our version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Good afternoon, Deans Matthew Slaughter, Joe Hall, and Sally Yeager. And a warm hello to Tuck's faculty, staff, guests, our family of friends, and of course to my fellow classmates. I am humbled to represent the historic Tuck class of 2020 as a student investiture speaker. While I'd like to think I was selected on the basis of my charismatic personality and witty humor, I know the real reason why my classmates voted for me. Since my wife graduated from Tuck last year, I'm one of the few T20 students who has actually been to a real Tuck graduation. That leaves me about as qualified to give this speech as Adam Newman was to be the CEO of WeWork. He didn't let that stop him, and frankly, neither will I. Giving an investiture address is a wonderful honor. It allows the speaker to provide such revelatory insights, such as reading you the definition of courage from the dictionary, and to provide you with hard-won nuggets of inspiration, such as follow your dreams. But it's hard to focus on that with the massive disruptions that we're experiencing. For months, the entire campus has been declared off limits. We are surrounded by the chaos that has shattered the tranquility of Hanover. I am talking, of course, about the construction of the Irving Center. On a serious note, The COVID-19 pandemic has caused a massive disruption to our Tuck experience, and I am truly heartbroken that I will be saying goodbye to my classmates virtually today. We became a class joined through sentiment and circumstance. We will forever be that class whose Tuck experience was turned so upside down. From the cancellations of all spring break travel and in-person social events, to the rapid move to online classes and this online graduation, our student, faculty, and staff leaders have worked tirelessly and at times thanklessly to keep us at an even keel. I would like to thank our Student Board President, Caroline Wells, Vice President, Teo Gonzalez, the MBA PO, and all of Tuck's faculty and staff for doing such an amazing job at keeping us safe and sane during these incredibly turbulent times. We are forever grateful. Of course, the disruptions this spring are but one chapter of our Tuck experience, and I want to take a moment to reflect on all the good times we had before social distancing disrupted our educational experience, and more importantly, before face masks got in the way of our weekly happy hours. Our Tuck journey began nearly 2 years ago. We entered Hanover riding an historic economic boom, and I'm happy to tell you that we couldn't have timed this MBA experience any better, because I'm pretty sure the economy has actually gone boom, as in, like, Anyway, back to the beginning of our journey. Imagine an auditorium filled with 286 strangers from 42 countries, all bonded over one shared goal, to land a prestigious job in management consulting. As we nervously introduced ourselves to each other, we shared where we're from, what we did before Tuck, and how we planned on getting one of those prestigious jobs in management consulting. These superficial introductions later turned into deep friendships, forged through small group dinners, hiking trips, Tuck winter carnivals, toga parties, international treks, and other lofty academic pursuits. During our time in Hanover, we have made friends for life. We have received awards and we have received promotions. We have gained spouses, we have grown families. We have laughed together and we have cried together. Owing to the quality of this speech, some of you may be laughing or crying right now. But don't worry, Mum and Dad, it wasn't all fun and games over the past 2 years. Throughout our Tuck journey, we sought to become wise and divisive. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say decisive leaders who would better the world through business. We started with some key takeaways in 4A and B. In stats, we learned that deviation is standard and mean is actually normal. In analysis for general managers, we learned that Yellowtail is not just a wine that everyone loves to hate, but also an HBS case that everyone loves to hate. In accounting, we learned, well, to be honest, I'm not sure what I learned, but it involved hot dog stands and tax liabilities. I guess Professor Stocken wanted to make sure we knew how to properly cook the books. But more than simply taking classes, we received an education. We learned how to navigate differences of opinion, how to make difficult decisions with empathy and respect. And, perhaps most importantly of all, we learned that debits go on the left and credits go on the right. But more important than our professors or our peers in this journey have been our partners. Tuck partners, or TPs for short, are the threads that weave the Tuck fabric together. We wouldn't be here today without them, literally. My T19 wife was the one who introduced me to Tuck and convinced me to apply. I should probably thank her someday. Tuck partners experience many of the same trials and tribulations as their students. They help us study for exams, conduct mock interviews, play late-night tripod hockey, and even help write graduation speeches. I don't remember writing that. But anyway, our partners sacrifice a great deal for us. They move to a new state, to new towns, to new apartments, and, allegedly, dorm rooms. Conditions can be dire. Drab housing situated in the middle of an Arctic tundra, appliances that seem to run on a wing and a prayer, linoleum as far as the eye can see, a dumpster in which no one can find the place to actually put the trash. There are, and I am not making this up, actual bears. But enough about Sachem. To our partners, this day is as much about celebrating you as it is about us. On behalf of your lesser halves, we thank you. Any good commencement address should leave you with some thoughtful advice. First, on the financial front, Now that I've received my MBA, people are constantly asking me for investment recommendations. So I've spoken with my corporate finance and valuation professors, and I fine-tuned my financial model. My suggestion, based on current market conditions, is a mix of 40% food and 60% shelter. I believe that Vanguard now offers this as a low-cost index fund. Second, some career advice. Give selflessly. Donate your time and money to your community and causes that are not just important to you, but important to the world. Be a proud alumnus of Tuck and of Dartmouth, and help mentor and foster the next generation of Tuckies, like so many have done for you. Mentor those in your organizations who seek it, and remember that your Tuck education puts you among a privileged few. And finally, some life advice. You will forever be a part of the class of 2020. While Tuck brought us together, this pandemic cemented our bonds. Never forget that you were an integral part, that you were part of something bigger than yourself. Our ties bind us more tightly than any other business school. We all made the conscious choice to be here, to learn and to grow with 285 of our best friends in the resplendent woods of the Upper Valley. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to leave you with this. Deep in the bowels of Tuck, inscribed on a small plaque in a classroom, is perhaps my favorite Tuck quote. Remember that you are the stuff of this institution. What you are, it will be. Thank you for having me. Goodbye and good luck.
Thank you, Chris, for those words of wisdom. It is now my pleasure to introduce some of the biggest stars of the T20 class, your 2020 band, 20 Degrees of Freedom.
Hey T20s, congratulations! On behalf of 20 Degrees of Freedom, the T20 band, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for being such loyal and supportive fans over the past 2 years. We've had some really amazing memories together, from 90s Night to Tuck Winter Carnival. Special shout out, of course, to our super fans, Tessa Guerin and Jeff Fisher, for always being in the front row. Before this band disbands, we just have one more special song to play for all of you guys. Enjoy.
The apple of my eye, friends, I've never loved one like you.
Man, oh man, you're my best friends. I scream into the white mountains. There ain't nothing that I need.
We went to Lou's, got apple pie, maple candy, Jesus Christ. Ain't nothing please me more than you.
Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. La 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 la, take me home. Oh, I'm coming home. I follow you onto the green, through the forest, what a dream. Tuck, I've never loved one like you.
Cabin skis and Murphys, section wars and DOC. I've been everywhere with you.
That's true. Laugh until we think we'll die. Patagonia on cold nights never could be sweeter than with you.
On Main Street you run free like it's only you and me. Geez, you're something to see. Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. La 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 la, take me home. Oh, I'm coming home.
Hey, Lena?
Yes, Papa?
Do you remember when we showed up for orientation in Cook?
I sure do, that late summer day.
Well, we had some great times, didn't we, here in the Upper Valley?
And we were traveling all over the place?
And enjoying each other's company. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, there's something I was thinking about as we graduate.
What are you thinking about?
While we were sitting in class, dancing in Rather,
And hosting small group dinners?
I just knew we were making memories for life.
Thanks for everything, Tuck.
I'm gonna miss you.
Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Home, let me come home. Home is where I'm with all of you.
Home, let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
Home, yes, I am home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
I'll follow you onto the creek, through the forest, what a dream.
Cabins, fees, and Murphys, all come from tripod hockey. And there is a big home Home is where I'm with all of you. Home is where I'm with all of you.
Thank you, Caroline and Chris, for those remarks, and special thank you to the T20 Band, 20 Degrees of Freedom. At this time, it is my pleasure to read the Edward Tuck letter. Written in 1904, this letter from our school's founding benefactor, Edward Tuck, to the Dartmouth president, William Tucker, discussed the values that Mr. Tuck hoped would guide this new school. In the conduct of the school to which you have done my father's memory the honor of attaching his name, I trust that certain elementary but vital principles may not be lost sight of in the variety of technical subjects of which the regular curriculum is composed. Briefly, these principles or maxims are these: absolute devotion to the career which one selects and to the interests of one's superior officers or employers. The desire and determination to do more rather than less than one's required duties. Perfect accuracy and promptness in all undertakings, and the absence from one's vocabulary of the word forget. Never to vary a hair's breadth from the truth nor from the path of strictest honesty and honor, with perfect confidence in the wisdom of doing right as the surest means of achieving success. And finally, to the maxim that honesty is the best policy should be added another: that altruism is the highest and best form of egoism as a principle of conduct to be followed by those who strive for success and happiness in public or in business relations, as well as those of private life. From the letter of Mr. Edward Tuck to President William Tucker, October 12, 1904. I would now like to close this investiture celebration by once again saying that we at Tuck are so very proud of each of you in the class of 2020. Today is an important day for you, for our school, and for our world. I acknowledge that the world you are graduating into is a world that is fraught with hardship and with pain. The coronavirus pandemic continues to grip our planet, with progress for some, but still with much work for us all. The world is now suffering its broadest and deepest recession since the Great Depression. And here in the United States, the searing legacy and persistence of racism and of violence against people of color continues to be all too prevalent. But although our world is fragile, I find great solace in you, the class of 2020. To overcome today's problems of the world, of privation, of inequality, of racism, what we need most of all is people who can envision a tomorrow that is better than today, and then can motivate high-performing teams to bring that vision to life. That is, what we need most of all is leaders as we define them at the Tuck School. Every one of you in the class of 2020 has made great strides in developing your capacities for wise and decisive leadership. Every one of you is exactly the kind of leader that our world is seeking today. This might not be the world that you were seeking, but it is a world in which the impact that you were seeking when you applied to Tuck can be immense and can be everlasting. So, members of the great Tuck class of 2020, celebrate your achievements and go forward with firm resolve and with good cheer. We at Tuck will be here, ready to welcome you back to these iconic steps behind me for a final investiture exercise when life allows. Until then, please be safe, please be well, and please be in touch. Congratulations and thank you.
T20s, don't think the Upper Valley will be the same for a second after you leave. But also don't think that I won't already be planning to invite you back for diversity conference, for admitted student weekend, and for all sorts of other things that I can think of. From application through graduation, you have definitely exceeded our expectations. We wish you all the best, health, safety, success, and lots of love. Congratulations.
To the T20s, the very first class I helped admit, congratulations.
Hey T20s, it feels like I was just making your admit calls and here you are graduating. Congratulations and good luck.
Congratulations T20s. We look forward to welcoming you back on campus for the best first reunion ever. Meanwhile, we'll keep on adapting what we do.
Congratulations T20s. Hey, the world needs your leadership more than ever, so go out there and do great things. We'll see you back at base camp.
Hi T20s, congratulations on your graduation. I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished and it's been a pleasure working with you. Congratulations, stay in touch, and don't be strangers.
T20s, congratulations. I'll always remember your strength, determination, and drive. Best wishes.
Congratulations to the T20s. I wish you all the best, and be sure to keep in touch wherever your travels take you.
To the T20s, those I've met and I didn't meet, congratulations on your achievement. Hope we cross paths in the future. Wish you all the best.
Hey, wanted to wish you all a happy graduation and investiture, digitally of course, from your venture capital private equity teacher, Gordon Phillips here. Hope you guys have a great summer. It's nice in Hanover now, and if you're around, I hope you stop by at any time. Bye.
Hi, this is Greg. I'm just saying goodbye, and glad that I got to meet many of you, and I hope you'll come back early and often.
Congratulations, class of 2020. I really admire the positive attitude that you've had through all of this. I wish you all the best, and please come back and visit.
Congratulations, Tuck class of 2020. Couldn't be happier for you.
Congratulations to you T20s. I wish you all the best in your career and everything that comes in the future. Best wishes, Bob Hansen.
Congratulations to my marketing students and especially to my on-site, FYP, and FYP Go teams. We're going to celebrate you in a huge way whenever we can all reconvene in Hanover.
Hey T20s, just want to say congratulations on your graduation. So happy for you. You guys are going to do great stuff. Go T20s.
Hi T20s, this is Praveen Kopale. Hearty congratulations on your graduation. It was so great to have so many of you in my Tech Intel and Pricing Analytics class. It was great and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Congratulations on finishing up. Your ability to adapt to this quarter, as well as the humility and empathy you have shown, will serve you very well in your career. We hope to see you soon.
Congratulations, Tuck class of 2020. I am so excited for you. The best is yet to come.
Congratulations, class of 2020, and I look forward to seeing you at an in-person investiture.
Congratulations, T20s. There is uncertainty, but your future is bright.
Congratulations, T20s. Who knew, starting with Mancom way back in the fall of your first year to where you are today, you would be able to utilize so many communication skills, both in person and remotely. I hope you have an amazing summer and can take some time for yourselves as you leave the Tuck environment and go forth. And first and foremost, stay healthy. And secondly, be awesome in whatever you decide to do with this one wild and precious life. Take care.
Hi T20s. Can't believe it's a year since I saw you all in Core Ops. Congratulations for graduating. I really look forward to seeing many of you back on campus in the coming years for alumni reunions, for recruiting. Definitely stay in touch and drop me a line if you're back in Hanover.
Hi T20s, you are a very special class in a very special time. So congrats on your achievements and good luck. Go get them.
Congratulations T20s. You did it. Well done. Wishing you all the best as you head off on your next adventure.
Dear T20s, congratulations for making it to the end of the term and to the end of your top careers. All the best wherever you may go. You will be missed. Come back often.
T20s, congratulations on your graduation. This will make quite a story to tell one day, but we look forward to celebrating with you at some point in the future.
Congratulations on wrapping up your MBA. This experience that you've had in the final term of your program is really unique in the long history of Tuck. And you will always have a special place in my heart for the grace that you've displayed during these challenging times. I wish you the best going forward.
Hey, congratulations, T20s. We're cheering for you to do great.
Congratulations, T20s.
Class of 2020, it's been an honor to work with you. Congratulations.
Hey, Professor Filer here. Class of 2020, huge congratulations. You made it.
Congratulations to the Tuck class of 2020. You're so proud of what you have accomplished and what you are likely to become. See, the COVID crisis no doubt presents short-term challenges, but this also opens up tremendous possibilities. Because crisis is an opportunity to reinvent the organizations you're going to join and recalibrate yourselves for the better. Remember Winston Churchill's famous line, never waste a good crisis. All the best.
Hi, this is John Lynch. I want to congratulate the class of 2020. As you continue with your exciting professional careers, please know that I and everyone at Tuck stand ready to help you in any way we possibly can. Just give us a call. Again, congratulations and best wishes.